Hey, what is up YouTube? OpTic here bringing you another video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of the equipment that pro players use or pro players choose to use across almost all esports and why that equipment. This is sparked from some questions that I was asked in my Twitter DMs as well as some conversation that was going on my stream today, so let's go ahead and talk about this. First up, we're going to talk about monitors. Now, personally, I use two different BenQ monitors as my main gaming monitor and my main side monitor, and then I have an Acer monitor over here that's I got for free. It's smaller, it's not as good. The reason I chose these monitors is because of the refresh rate, the response time, and then the color spectrums they had and the customization abilities that I can go and do in the presets. Now, when you're looking at monitors, your refresh rate, that's the megahertz thing. You see usually 50, 60, 144 is the new one. Or the new high-end one. That's going to be the frequency at which whatever image is being displayed is refreshed. So how basically quickly it's updated by your monitor. The higher the refresh rate, basically the more precise your image is going to be compared to what's actually happening. So this is good for gaming. Obviously, like you want people to be exactly where they are in the system on your monitor. Your response time is basically going to be how quickly your monitor reacts to input. So the lower the number, the better for this one. 1 millisecond is really ideal. I think that's, I don't know if that's the lowest number, but 1 millisecond response time is a pretty good, it's a pretty good monitor basically. And then colors, obviously, like the more colors, the better the picture looks, stuff like that. That's not as crucial, but it still helps, especially when you get into those games like Gears of War, for example, where there's a lot of dark and blacks and grays and stuff like that. That's where it becomes really helpful. Next, we're going to talk about for your specific game, whether you do PC gaming or your console. That's obviously going to be important equipment. I personally use an Xbox One S. I did see test results where Xbox One S's slightly outperformed the original Xbox Ones, but I personally haven't really noticed too much of a difference, and it's really hard to tell. I've also heard rumors, though I haven't seen tests, where you can actually put a solid state into your Xbox, and it's a modification, obviously, so you're going to be breaking warranties, but that would also help when playing games. That being said, I also have heard that the Scorpio, whenever that happens, and once we get more information on that, that is going to be a powerhouse for console gaming, going to make games run way better. So that might be necessity. That'll just kind of depend on what specs are in it and whether that'll give that extra edge within competitive console games. If you're a PC gamer, obviously, that's a whole different video that we could go into, but personally, I have a high-end graphics card. I have a GTX 1080. I have an i7 processor. So it's a fast processor, and I have 32 gigs of RAM, so I can handle a lot of multitasking and a lot of things running basically simultaneously. So it's important, like it's important for the specs to be high end in order to have better performance of the game. But on the contrary to that, I have seen players, especially in League of Legends, who have very basic computers, who even play on laptops that can barely run the game and play phenomenally well. So that kind of equipment isn't as important. It's just part of the entire, like the total gaming setup, and so I wanted to touch on it. Your next is going to be your peripheral, so your Scuf Gaming controller. No, I promise this isn't a plug for Scuf Gaming. I personally use Scuf Gaming controllers. I love Scuf Gaming controllers. I've used them for a while. I know a lot of people who use Elite controllers, which, by the way, Elite uses, I believe, Scuf's patent for the paddles. It's just kind of a slightly different design. They kind of come from the sides rather than from the battery case. I don't know if you guys can even see that. The reason for these controllers, and I've talked about this in another video, so if you are interested, you can go look up why pros use Scuf controllers. But basically, the more inputs you can do at one time, the more control you have over the game, the faster you can do things, stuff like that. So you see people wall bouncing like crazy. It's because they don't have to take their thumb off the joystick, so they can keep more control on where they're aiming and moving, and they can press the wall bounce button on one of the paddles. Same reason people would play claw. So it's pretty important to have a good controller with paddles, or to learn to play claw, or some games even have, like for Gears of War, Tournament Edition controls where it switches the buttons and you can bounce with one of these while still having other functionality on other controls. But it is important to have that kind of peripherals. So I highly vouch for Scuf, and that's what I personally prefer, but to each their own. If you're a PC gamer, it's going to come down to your mouse and your keyboard. Your mouse has a sensor on the bottom. This is like, hopefully you're getting a laser sensor on your mouse that some people still use other mice. I don't know why. And there have been pros in League of Legends who have used trackballs, but it was weird. So anyways, you have a laser sensor on the bottom of your mouse. It's going to look something like that. You see the little red laser. And the higher DPI or the higher DPI customization you can do, the better. It's going to basically allow you to adjust how sensitive your mouse is and how sensitive the laser is on whatever surface you're on. So again, comes down to personal preference. I know a lot of PC gamers prefer to have it less boosted and more realistic so that they have to move their whole arm. That's actually supposed to be better for you than moving just your wrist, especially for people who play CSGO. Your keyboard, if you're a gamer, you're an intense gamer, you want to go with a mechanical keyboard. Basically, mechanical keyboards have a higher keystroke count, meaning that the keyboard is going to have a longer lifespan. Traditional keyboards usually have like a gel kind of pad underneath it that helps register when you press a key. And this is individual switches. A mechanical keyboard is individual switches. They're usually more clicky and more noisy. I like that. A lot of them allow you to hit multiple keys at once and send all of those signals to your computer at the same time. So if you're playing Gears on PC and you move sideways and backwards and then roll, it can do that basically faster and better. So mechanical keyboard, laser mouse, and plenty of DPI customization on that mouse. Scuf Gaming controller. Next up is headset. I use the Turtle Beach Elite Pros. I have used almost every brand's headset on the market except for a few. And I will say, honest to God, these are hands down the best headset that I've ever owned. They have the best sound. They have the best comfort. They are just the right weight. Everything about them. I wear them for multiple hours a day, and I don't like the padding is very comfortable, so I don't feel it on there. It doesn't get my ears too hot. I don't feel like that need where I have to go like, oh my God, my ears. Like, no, none of that. Headset, it can stay on all the time. My ears, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. The sound is amazing. The microphone is great. My literal only comment could be the cable could be longer, but even then I'm sitting at my desk, so I'm not walking around my room with my headset on. Everything else about the headset is great. This is another personal preference thing. If you prefer another brand, go for it, but a gaming headset is important. The reason for that is you need to be able to hear everything in a lot of games. CSGO, Gears of War, Halo, Call of Duty. You need to be able to sound whore, basically, is what they call it, where you use audio clues within the game, whether it be footsteps, whether it be the rustling of a tree because somebody walked past it, the reloading of a gun, the breathing of a character, whatever the case may be. Being able to hear that is key to having an advantage on your opponents. And so many people are getting gaming headsets now that it's almost a standard as just a gamer in general, not even a competitive gamer. So it's a necessity as a competitive gamer. So that just about does it for this video. If there's anything you feel like I missed, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, make sure to hit the thumbs up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to click subscribe. As always, I sincerely appreciate the support, and I will see you all in the next video.